Welcome to Adultish Wines, Tasha Daniels. Is that right? Tasha Daniels?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did I gather that right?
No,
from
you're
your
good.
socials?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. Welcome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Welcome.
you too.
I'm happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
To start with, are you from Houston?
No, I'm not. I'm from Florida.
From Florida originally. How long have you been in Houston?
This month makes 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, cheers.
Cheers.
I always forget to do that. Cheers. Okay, actually, I've been in Houston about 3.5 years.
Mhm.
So I'm from California originally, though.
A lot of people are from California.
I know,
here.
don't hate. Well, you can't because you're a transplant,
Yeah,
too.
I'm a transplant. Yeah.
Okay, cool, fun. So were you in your a mom of two?
Yes, I am. They're
Okay.
6 and 8
6 and 8.
and crazy.
Okay.
My house is like a WWE match every day.
Oh my God. Boys, girls?
Boys.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
All they do is fight, but not in like a bad way all the time.
No, they're just energetic boys that go
Yeah.
crazy.
It's weird because like 2 seconds they're like, I don't like you. And then the next second they like, you're my best friend. I love you as my brother. I wouldn't want any other brother. And I'm like, but you just said. So it's weird. So I let them be them.
Yeah.
I'm just there.
Okay. And you're a lock stylist here in Houston?
Yes, I am.
That's your main gig.
That is my main thing.
Okay.
That's what I do a lot of. I can't even say that it's like my main thing anymore because I pretty much evenly split my time in between that and financial services.
Okay.
So the thing is, this is how you just know you don't know what you're going to end up doing until you do it. Because
Definitely.
I started in financial services in 2018, 19-ish, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
And then I also started with my hair care product line because of the fact that we were in a shelter. I couldn't afford to go get my hair done. And then I just started taking care of my hair on my own and all of that. And then I just started like finding ways to make my own products. So then I started making my own products. And then it's really funny how everything worked out because I had the baseline of financial services.
Yeah.
But then when we got out here, I was still with the company I was with. Yeah, so then I just got to the point where I had mentally checked out because it was like, it's sales, but it was like so mentally draining because it's like, we done with the month, it's over with, and now we got to start all over again. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was obviously still dabbling in my products, but I couldn't just like go out and sell like I used to because it was like during COVID-ish time when we were still a little serious about it.
Right.
So I couldn't go and sell the way I normally would. But then I literally started doing my own hair because I had locked my hair right before we got out here.
Okay.
And then it literally, I had a girl come and style it for me because I locked it myself. I retwisted it myself. And she was like, this is really good. Who did it? And I was like, I did it. But I didn't want to like, whatever. And then she was like, it was really good. And from that point on, because I used to work for a marketing firm. So I'm pretty good at like getting myself out there.
Okay.
So I used like all the skills and techniques I needed to like grow my clientele. In that first 6 months, I went from 0 to over 300 clients.
Whoa.
And I was
300 clients.
Yeah. I was not expecting it. And some of them are still with me to this day, which that's a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
Quite a few of them are actually like, it's nice to see people grow.
For sure.
Yeah, I did not expect for this to happen. And then obviously I still have like my state licenses and life insurance. So I still do that.
Okay.
So I do both.
Yeah.
That was like a long-winded way to say that I still do both.
No, that's good. I mean, multifaceted.
Yeah, and the way that I tell people is like the insurance, it feeds like my mental, like I get to sit down and really like break stuff apart, put stuff back together as far as like the families I deal with. But then I get to also still be creative because I think that was part of the reason that was really stressing me out with the sales position was the fact that I was so mental to the point where I was burnt out.
Yeah.
So when I realized,
I'm in sales too, and this is my first time being in a sales position like this. And I just didn't expect the worry that comes with sales. Like, I mean, you have your base salary, and that's great, but you have goals to meet.
I don't have that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Some
some positions don't.
Yes,
Yeah.
Some places do. But then also the thing that I do like about sales is that you always have the room to grow. Like you're not stuck at like where you are. And then I feel like when you're stuck in just like a salary position.
Right.
And I'm not going to say stuck because it ain't for everybody. Let's be honest. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So not to knock what nobody is doing. But for me, like I like to be able to be like, oh, today wasn't so great, but I can go in and kill it tomorrow and I have a great paycheck. Like, I like stuff like that.
Yeah,
I like
definitely.
not to have a cap.
Okay, so I want to, because you mentioned you were in a shelter, and that's when you started doing your own hair because you couldn't afford
to go get it done. And
that's also when you made, is it Coily products?
Yes.
Coily products.
Yes.
So can you tell, how did you end up in a shelter? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay, if we really want to be honest, see what had happened was I had moved back home from here with my parents after the stuff that I was telling you about. After all that happened. Okay. So my dad was like, "Oh, just move back home." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Home."
Yeah, so you moved home after a bad experience.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I don't know, my dad kicked me out like a couple times. Yeah.
Okay.
He kicked me out a couple times. He kicked my sister out too, so it's not just me. But he kicked us both of us out. He kind of, I don't know. It was weird. So yeah, so then I ended up finding a shelter because the time that I actually, for clarification, the time that I actually ended up going to the shelter was because I noticed the pattern of behaviors and I knew it was coming. So instead of me just not having anywhere to go,
you had a plan.
I had a plan. So I was like, I found the shelter.
That was here in Houston.
No, that was when I was still in Florida. I was still in Florida. Yeah. So I found that shelter. It was, and honestly, and this is the ironic part about it. The shelter that I was in was nicer than the townhouse we ended up renting for the following 3 years. Like, kid you not.
What was the shelter like? Like, how many people?
Okay. So fortunately for me, I was in a small town. So ironically enough, I'd say they probably didn't have a lot of monetary resources, but there were so few people that it seemed like we had a lot of, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I ended up finding a shelter where we had our own apartment. It was renovated. Like, it was really nice. We had our own everything except for like washer and dryer, and we shared that communal area.
Oh, that's great.
The biggest part, like the hardest part about being there, and I'm gonna just be honest, the lady, her name is Sharon, and she in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And she was just racist as hell.
She was the landlord or who?
She was the property manager of the place.
Okay.
I ain't even, I went back home, my grandma passed away, I want to say, coming up November will be 2 years. I went back home. Yeah. Thank you. Tough. It is. Yeah. I never felt hurt like that before, I don't think. And honestly, even with my granddad passing away, it was just a different type of hurt. It came from a different area. It was weird. It was so weird.
Crazy. Were you really close with your grandma growing up?
Yeah. But I drove past and she still lived there. She still lives there. And she's still the property manager. It's weird.
Some people are just miserable.
I think that's probably
in their life and putting their assumptions obviously unfairly on people, which is not okay, not fair. That's like a Sharon Karen situation.
Right. For real.
Sharon Karen situation.
And like I said, I'm very high tune, hyper, whatever you want to call it. So I was like, let me ask some other people. Let me see if I'm tripping. Because at the time I was working technically 3 jobs. And I was still in school, and then I had a newborn. And I had a newborn.
Children, yeah.
Because I had him while I was in the shelter. So I had my newborn.
Okay.
And then I had my 2-year-old. Okay. So I had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And to think that, people are already in bad situations, and then for you to just come in and just screw with them on a consistent basis, it's just weird. Get a life.
Yeah, and fix your life.
Fix your life, because clearly something ain't right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you were doing that kind of all on your, not kind of, sounds like you were doing that on your own. How did you, and even if it was a, pretty okay experience, you said the actual location was pretty good.
Yeah, the location was great. It was just.
How did you keep going, in life?
Because my kids don't have anybody else to fall back on. If I don't do it, it's yeah, who's gonna do it? And not only that, I just want more. I don't want to be, and I think that's something else that plays a role in it. We were well provided for growing up. So I feel like I wanted to find a way to provide that for myself.
Right.
And I think that's what motivates me to keep going.
Yeah. You didn't want your fate in somebody, even your dad's kind of hands.
I didn't want that at all.
Do you have a relationship with your dad right now? Is it?
She asking all her crazy questions. Do we be honest or do we?
You can share whatever you're open to sharing with. Honestly, if you're not comfortable, that's
no, we don't. I tried like around the time when my grandma passed away for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But then it's like when people keep doing stuff consistently to show you who they are, why don't I just believe you and let it go?
Yeah.
So I'm just over it.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally understand that. I feel like hopefully like the door is never, and by the way, like I know you don't know a whole lot about me, but I do not have a relationship with my dad. My mom has passed away. And so I'm not coming from a place of like, I'm not saying this like, go be with your dad. I'm saying like, hopefully the door is, never totally slammed shut. And if there's, improvement on behaviors down the line and apologies that can be made, hopefully there's
that would be nice. I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening at all because he doesn't feel like he's done anything.
Some people are stuck in their ways.
But you want to know what it is though? So I've come to the realization after dating the shitty people that I've dated that people feel like, and I'm going to say especially in the Black community, people feel like as long as the person is present, they've done their job. But if the person is present and not...
like if their body is there, that's not the same as like them being emotionally and mentally.
It's not the same. It's not the same. So a lot of times I'm like, oh, if people are like, oh, your dad, like I said, we provided for very well. My dad was in the military, like he did the whole thing, like he did that. But it's like when you're home, it's like, bro, you spazzing. Like it's weird. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a bummer.
I think I'm pretty much in the space of finally coping with things. Like I'm just like, it is what it is. I tried.
Yeah.
But then it's like when people around you who has been a part of your life for years see the stuff that's going on and they're like, why are you still dealing with this? Then you have to be like, all right, I ain't tripping.
You know what? I don't know if I heard this or from a podcast or if someone else, a friend or a guest said this to me, but they said like it was about family and issues with family. And if you wouldn't let your friend treat you this way or the man you're dating treat you this way or woman or partner,
right?
Why are you gonna let your family treat you this way? Like just because you were born into that family, like yeah, you guys have blood and that's great, but like that doesn't give you a free pass.
Something that I saw, people would say life is too short for that, but life is also too short to sit around and get treated like shit.
Preach.
Like point blank period. Like so
yeah, from anyone.
Right. From
Sharon. From family,
like for real.
Yeah,
for real. So yeah, that's where we are with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to therapy? Are you into therapy?
Not.
Okay.
So I have not, and a few people have told me I need to because
I think therapy should be for everyone.
And I think it's great. I do too.
Even if you don't have like a certain thing happening in your life, I'm a big therapy girl.
Yeah, I should.
Love it.
I keep getting told. And then, like, with the contract I got, they offer it through, like, BetterHelp or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I should probably, I'll check that out. Okay.
I mean.
Yeah, I will.
If you want. I just think that, like, I always say, why not talk to somebody who absolutely does not care about your life? Like, you're probably venting to your friends and they're supportive, but they're also probably, like, curbing to, like, always telling you like, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
so
too.
I really like that. I mean, in therapy really only works if
but I be right because my daddy be tripping.
No. I'm sure you're right. I'm sure. But it's just nice to have somebody who is completely like not connected to you, hear the story and be able to give you. I always say there's 3 sides to every story. Yeah. There's hers, his, and the truth.
Yeah.
And so I do the best I can in therapy to like be the one who says the truth, but like I don't even maybe I'm oh my
God, there's a show. Have you ever watched The Affair?
Yes.
They literally, and this is why I love that show. They showed the same stories from different perspectives. So you'll watch it and you'll be like, dang. And
maybe I haven't seen this show. I'm thinking of something else.
Okay. I can't remember what platform it's on, but it's good.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I would like that.
Yeah. It literally shows the exact same scenario from different people's perspective. Okay. And then you like, that ain't what happened. That girl did not say that. But then it's like, it's showing, and it shows you literally how different people's perspectives are. So, yeah, you should watch that. It's great.
Okay. I will.
It's great.
I'm a big TV movie Although my toxic trait is I can never remember what the TV or the movie is.
Called?
Like I can
Me
quote
too.
it,
I can
or I
quote
can sing a song.
I can quote it from A to Z,
but I won't know the artist.
I won't know the name of shows. I won't know the name of movies, the name of songs.
Okay, so finances too. So can you do your own taxes?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
No. So I work in the realm of, so here's the thing. When it comes down to it, it's two different reserves. It's your Federal Reserve, which is controlled by the federal government, all them people, right? But then you have the Insurance Reserve. The main differences are that the stuff that's, regulated by the Federal Reserve is always taxed. It's always, it's not protected. If you get sued today, you're not gonna be able to, like, if you get sued today and they're like, what is it that you have in your bank account? What is it that you have in CDs? What is it that you have? You know what I mean? In those different places, those can be taken from you. The things that we do are controlled by the Insurance Reserve and it's protected.
Okay.
And it's literally, have you ever seen like those things? And you're probably going to see it now because I just mentioned
it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those videos where they're like, this is how the Rockefellers built their empire?
Yeah.
Basically stuff like that. So I teach people how to do stuff like that. And I can cater it to what your specific situation is, because obviously you can't go do what those people did, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, you need to learn how to do it on a smaller scale and build up.
Okay.
So a lot of people are like, oh, I want generational wealth. But literally, if literally everything that you're doing, you can walk into court and it can be taken from you today, you're not building generational wealth. You're literally building a house with no foundation.
That is probably, I don't even know if this is the right thing to say or not. But when I hear someone that I'm dating, I'm very single. Mm-hmm. And I've been through the ringer. I'm going to tell you this. Yeah. But when it's a good sentiment when somebody says, I want generational wealth.
It is.
But it drives me fucking nuts when I hear that, because I'm like,
what are you doing?
Be more specific.
Yeah, because what are you doing to get there?
What about today? Mm-hmm. Love that huge. I don't know. And it's also in the way that it's being said too. Like, I want generational wealth. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing for that? Like, I don't know. It just feels like an empty sentence. Uh-huh.
And it's like, remember those buzzwords? I'm
gonna get hate for that.
Buzzwords, trigger words, clickbait words, stuff like that. That's what it is. And then the whole, like, have you heard the term infinite banking?
No.
Okay, so that's another one that they're starting to float out there, where basically you take your insurance policies and you layer them to the point where you can always borrow from yourself. Stuff like that. So yeah.
And maybe,
which is possible, but if you're not doing it, then right. Like my children have whole life policies right now, and what they are doing, my 8-year-old, he actually he started dog sitting.
Cute.
So tomorrow is his first client, which is also one of my hair clients. So
okay.
Yeah. So
that's adorable.
He is so excited. He's been talking about it. He came to me on the 20th and I had a client in my chair and he was like, Mommy, guess what today is? And I'm like, what? He's like, it's 420. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking? Like, what you talking about? Like, what are we talking about? Right. And then he's like, no, it's 4 days away until I get to dog sit. And I'm like, okay. Bet. So what he's doing is, and I didn't tell him this, it's just, this is the type of conversations that are had. So he was like, some of his money is going to go into the cash value of his whole life. Some of the money he's going to spend, and some of the money he's going to take to make more money. And I'm like, I feel like if more of us taught these things at a younger age, we would know more when we get older.
I love that.
And we would do more when we get older. And the thing is, like, all these girls out here having all these millions of kids, like, take a couple dollars, put it to the side into whole life. By the time they're older, they can literally take that money tax free. By the time, like, and if you do it right, like, say you have a 2-parent house or whatever, if you have grandma, and this is another thing I realized since my kids started going to a private school, what those parents do is they literally, like, when they send out their email invitations or whatever, and I never seen this before, this was completely mind-blowing to me. When they sent out the email invitations, in the email, it had
invitations for what?
Birthday parties.
Okay.
They had the option in the invitation, instead of buying my child gifts, you can contribute to their 529 savings plan. You can contribute to their IRAs, their custodial IRAs. So instead of, like, throwing away money into toys, because my kids' toys get thrown away. I get sick of that crap. I throw away my kids' toys a lot because they're
going to play with the wrapping that it comes with anyway.
That too. With that being said, That's what we should be doing. We should get into the mindset of doing that. And then when you have like, especially when you have these grandparents who are like spoiling the crap out of these children, like literally you could set up a policy to give your child $500,000 tax free when they do get of age.
So what, 19, but 21. What is that? Where does that start? What is it? You said whole life?
Whole life. It's the easiest way to do it. Don't get me wrong. And a lot of people, and people get on my nerves when they do this, but it's a lot of different ways to do stuff. And some people will try to say, oh, an IUL is better, or this is better, or a term is better. I'm so sick of this conversation. Listen, when you go and sit down with an advisor, you need to find out what's best for you and your current situation.
Okay.
It's not...
That's the first step.
That's the first step. Your advisor, when you sit down and have a conversation, it should be, what are your needs? When I start my meetings, it's literally, where are you at? Where are you trying to be? Mm-hmm. It's not about products. Because let's be real, if any of these products were bad, they would not have been around all of these.
Right.
Because the company I work for has been around for 175 years. Do you think a company that's been around for 175 years and has been able to pay dividends for 169 years would still be in business if the products that they were selling were bad? No, you're supposed to have, when it comes to investing, you're supposed to have a mix. It's supposed to be diversified. You're not supposed to pour all into one thing. With that being said, what's wrong with starting your child with a whole life policy that by the time they're old enough to withdraw, they have something to take away from?
And honestly, I didn't know that was
a lot of people don't.
Never heard of that.
A lot of people don't.
But I also still don't have an IRA.
And you know, things happen, but you're supposed to have like a good mix. And it's funny because when you talk,
it's been on my to-do list forever.
Well, now you got somebody who can help you out with that. We can do that. And then that's another thing that I try to tell girls in the service industry, like literally take your tips, $100 in tips. Take your tips, put it into a whole life policy. I feel like people don't think about retirement no,
absolutely not. I mean, for the most part, I would imagine.
We don't. And I honestly, I wouldn't think about it if it weren't for the fact that I'm in the industry that I'm in, but also my first job was at a funeral home. So I've seen it from different angles. You know what I mean? I've seen the families who come in with not whole life, but life insurance in general. I've seen the families who don't. And we've all seen the families who don't. I guarantee you right now, if I were to ask you, can you think of how many families, well, I don't know you enough to say that, but if you ask the general average person, especially person of color, how many people can you think of paid for their funeral with a life insurance policy versus how many people can you think of who has paid with their funeral with GoFundMes?
Oh, yeah.
Like, think about that. If you could give me 5 people that you can think of off the top of your head who paid with life insurance, and give me 5 people, and you would probably exceed.
Well, my mom, when she passed away, she had nothing, and we were screwed because she was in major debt. She was obviously in the hospital. The house we tried to get out of her name, we'd had a notary there to get it moved over to my sister's name because we knew that the hospital bills were gonna, they were gonna put a lien out on the house
because that's what they do,
right? But then at a certain point, she became not coherent enough to make, they deemed her not coherent, which blah blah blah. But anyway, when she did pass away, I mean, we were getting calls from bill collectors, credit cards. I mean, Victoria's Secret, Best Buys, banks,
because they still come for you, and that's why
100%. They're
not gonna stop.
No, they're like, sorry about that. But really,
that was between you and her. That ain't nothing to do with me.
Sorry about your mom, but where's our money? And actually, one of my sisters was the person who took like the most charge on that, and basically. I mean, this is kind of a segue, but basically she was able to say like, hey, she owes X amount. I can give you this today cash, but that's all I'm ever going to be able to give you. And they would basically, as long as they could get something, those smaller credit cards,
they would write it off.
But I tell people after that experience, the house, like a shit show, because it was my grandparents' house. We wanted to keep it in our family, da-da-da. I tell people, I'm like, go get life insurance. Go get a will.
Estates, will, something.
Because the burden that put on us to have to figure out, and also caused conflict probably within the family.
It's always conflict.
Trying to figure it out. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Who's going to get this? I mean, not that we had anything to get from her, but yeah, it was chaos. And it's like you're trying to grieve a loved one.
Right. That's literally what I tell people. Like when I used to work with the first company I started off with, I'm not going to throw that out there because it is a large company. But with the first company I was working with, that was literally like what they would be. Like, you need to have this conversation with your client. Like, when it comes time to grieve, do you want to be able to grieve, or do you want to have to grieve and pay bills? Like, what is it? And then that's another thing. Like, everyone is so quick to like move in with people nowadays and don't want to lay like the foundation of that because you get used to paying half the rent. That whole 50-50 conversation. I'm over it. But let's be honest. The economy is terrible. So you end up splitting rent in a lot of situations. With that being said, you get used to paying half the rent and, you know, you finally got your stuff together, but then this person unfortunately passes away and now everything falls back on you. Why didn't y'all just come together and when y'all talked about finances, put in some life insurance? It's not that expensive if you do it now. Don't be one of those people who come to me when you 48, 50 something years old talking about, oh, I need to get life insurance, but I have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and a bad leg. I don't want to talk to you no more. Like, I don't want to talk. Like, what are you going to do?
I feel attacked. I'm not 48 or 50, but I do have a bad hip.
We can get you by. The hip is okay. But no, people like literally, I had one person like triple bypass surgery. I want life insurance. Now, sir, no. And then the sad part is...
They're gonna cover, right? It's just gonna be more expensive.
It is gonna be more expensive. Okay. And they're not gonna cover because the person's not gonna pay it. Like, let's be honest. Like, you're not gonna... When I show people these rates, like... And honestly, I want to say it was like the week before last week, I had a crap ton of life insurance appointments. But it was all... Not old, but older people. A lot of different medications. Once you start adding medications... It starts getting higher. It gets higher and higher because you're...
But if you start when you're younger...
Yeah, if you start when you're... And you lock in insurability also. So say like with the children's policies that I write, we put... It's called a PPO. It's a rider. You put it on there and you can choose how much you want, but I keep it at the basic because whatever. So throughout the child's life, you can add face value to the policy like with no medical needed. So for me, for example, when I was 6, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
So my life insurance is extremely expensive.
Right.
Because
it was, I mean... When
I was a child. But if my parents were to have put a life insurance policy in place when I was an infant, not only would I, you know, have a lot of money just sitting to the side without having to pay taxes on, but... I would also be able to continuously increase my face value of my policy without having to go through medical.
Wow.
So it's a lot of different things, but we just don't get told. And like I said, I wouldn't know if it weren't for the fact that I sit through these trainings.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's
a lot. It's a lot. And then like, even like say when you write a children's policy, right? If you put the right rider on there, say if you, God forbid, were to pass away, if you put the right rider on there, the policy will continue to be paid even in your passing, and your child won't have to worry about the payment, or whoever takes care of them won't have to worry about the payment.
Where do we learn this stuff? Like, where do people learn this stuff? I've never been told this stuff.
Go digging, or you have to decide to get into the industry.
But why aren't we being taught this?
I don't know.
Say,
and you know, it's crazy.
School.
Right. That would be nice, but no, it doesn't happen.
And for people like me, again, like I didn't really have parents super present. So like I was not told any of this.
Yeah. We don't get told.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean, I'm sure I've heard blips, you know,
yeah, but no, I don't even think I had that. For business owners, it's so much stuff that you can put in place. Like, say, you know, those like mom and pop shops, you could literally put, like, say you have a key employee, you could put a life insurance policy on that key employee. And when that person, God forbid, passes away, say, and not only that, it's a write-off. So the premiums that you're paying, you write it off on your taxes at the end of the year. But when that person passes away, however much the face value is, that goes directly into your business. So it helps you boost revenue. It helps you boost your clients. It helps you boost all that stuff. And it's not expensive. And it's a write-off. We go buy laptops for write-offs. So why don't we buy life insurance for write-offs? It gives you money back. Like, literally, one of the guys I work with, he was like, he wrote $1 million policy on a key employee. So if something happens to that employee, like the bookkeeper or whatever, you know, the people who have been with the company for forever. So you have to, obviously, your company needs to take the time to find a quality person to fill that place. But in that time frame, you're going to more than likely lose money because the heart of your business is not there anymore.
Right.
So do you want to default on the things that you have or get behind on the things that you have, or do you want to just take that money from the life insurance policy, the $1 million life insurance policy that's tax-free, that you also wrote off on your taxes when you filed?
I have one bugaboo.
What's up?
I pay my insurance, my health insurance, my renter's insurance every time, on time. Never been late. I rarely use it. Well, in my case, I guess I've had a few surgeries, but you know what I mean? Like the benefits of it, I'm like not there, you know?
Right.
Do you feel like life insurance benefits, like if, you know, God forbid the person passed away, of course, but like it's actually doing its job, what you've been paying your monthly premiums for?
Yes, it is. Unless you flat out lie on I get what you're saying. Unless you flat out lie on your application. And even then, they just give you your premiums paid back.
Okay.
As long as you do what you're supposed to do, you good. Like, you're going to get what it is that we talked about. Or if you go to the bottom of the barrel, if you go to a bottom of the barrel company, they may try to fight you. Like these companies that you see where they be like, oh, just click a few buttons and you have $1 million policy. We're not going to do any underwriting. You want to know why they're not going to do any underwriting? Because when you go to file that claim, that's when they're going to pull all of your medical records and they're going to see something that you forgot about. And they're going to use that as a reason not to pay you out.
Oh.
That's why it's so easy to get those policies. Because they spend so much time. And you can literally, like the state websites, you can go on there and like, you can see the credit rating of these companies. Insurance companies have credit ratings just like you do. It's 4 different bureaus that rates them. So I've been fortunate enough to find this stuff out. And the company that I work for across all 4 bureaus, they have the highest rating.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to, that's part of the reason. It's a lot of other reasons too.
Yeah.
But that's part of the reason why I wanted to get with this company, because they have like strong financial stability. So yeah. And they also hired the first Black insurance agent.
Okay.
And then they also help with policies with Martin Luther King and his people.
Oh, love that.
Yeah. So it's
okay.
a lot.
So you did your research.
Yeah. I was not bullshitting. Listen, when I got myself fired from the company I was with and I decided I needed to take like a mental break and like chill out for a minute, I did do, obviously I was doing hair, but then I did go ahead and contract with a bunch of brokerages.
Okay.
And it was trash. It was so bad. And I didn't feel comfortable like writing the policies for the people, but I also think it's because I started off with one of the top companies.
Okay.
Like a real company. I started off with a real company. So I understood what an insurance company is supposed to do for you.
Right.
With these companies where these brokerages, like you meet these people, and I ain't knocking nobody hustle. Like you do what you do.
Yeah.
I'm talking about for me. I did not like the atmosphere. I did not like the environment of the calls that we were on for the brokerage firms. Like it was not.
Just didn't like it.
I did not.
Didn't
like
make you feel good.
It didn't give like I didn't get like warm and fuzzies. I got like run, bitch. Like Ponzi scheme. Like no, for real. Like I'm so serious.
Scam alert.
Scam alert.
So is this a full-time position? And then you do hair?
So with the way my clientele flows, no, it's not full. It technically is, but it's like, it's appointment based.
Okay. Lucky. So you have a little bit of like both worlds. You have this like mind stimulating and definitely beneficial.
Yes.
And then you have like the creative.
Yes. And it's very beneficial too. Because like I said, when I was doing just straight financial services, I was losing my mind.
Right. I hope that we're moving into this world where it's like, do a good job and you won't be talked to. Kind of thing.
That's why I like to go. I like to produce and I like to be left alone.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not producing, talk your shit. It's cool.
Right. Like, and I expect it.
I expect that. But if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, like, leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
Yeah. And also, like you said earlier, I think one of the first things we said, like, this economy is shit. Like, if you think that the job that I do for you is making my entire life, it's not. I'm probably having 2 or 3 different kind of jobs. Like,
and that's what it was with...
Even in Houston, the cost of living is not as cheap as they said it was.
No, we got tricked. And then did you hear that they're going to increase the taxes? Did you see that? Why am I the only person who saw this press conference? It's starting to make me mad.
No.
It was on Instagram. They took a clip from it. Like, and then different outlets started sharing it because it was just berserk. These people sat here on a panel of some sort. I don't even know. And they were like, the city of Houston is broke.
Sorry. I did see that clip.
Okay.
I saw that specific part.
Did you see the rest of it where they were like, the federal government gave us 49 million or billion, I can't remember how much, and then they were like, to build affordable housing, and then the dude was like, did we build the houses? And the other dude was like, no. And then he was like, why didn't we build the houses? Like, this whole economy is terrible.
It's terrible.
And it's not gonna get any better. It's not. Like, I don't see it getting no
It's
better.
messy.
It's messy, and everybody want to fight instead of getting along. Like, I feel like if somebody cooked like a really nice dinner, and like everybody hit the blunt a few times, we might be able to figure this stuff out. But I do not see that happening at all.
At all.
It's not. No.
Oh my God, you're so right.
It's not. Just like some good pasta, like we be able to figure this stuff out. Yeah.
Some good one. That's why I started the podcast. Like, can we all just like get along?
Like, why are we so mad?
Why is everyone so mad? Why are there so many hills that you're willing to die on? And actually, that was something that I do feel like I improved on through talking to so many different people and just kind of reflecting on my own. I felt so strongly about a lot of things that there were probably hills that I would get a die on that like I'm more educated now, or more just like, hey, listen, instead of posting that on Instagram, I'm just going to donate to the cause that supports what I want.
Okay, so here's the thing about donating to causes.
Yeah.
So apparently when you start like a foundation or whatever you want to call it, cause or whatever, like, and I can't remember the exact amount, and I did turn my phone off, so I can't even Google it, but it's a very small percentage of the money that actually I believe that. Yeah. So I don't even want to do that too much. I'd rather just like roll down the street, see somebody standing there, and give them a cookie. Literally, that's what I do. Like, I would rather do stuff like that.
Have you ever had someone turn down something you've given them on the side of the street? Because I have.
No. What did you have turned down?
Many times.
What were you giving though?
Well, I'm from LA, honey. Okay.
It was avocado toast.
Not the avocado toast.
Was it avocado toast?
No, and by the way, like, that would have been crazy to refuse avocado toast. Some radishes on top. Yum.
Oh, that's wild. Go ahead.
No, it was a wrap. It was a sandwich wrap.
I'm going to tell you something when you're done.
And I used to work in the studios in TV, in movies. And so all our crafty, we used to have so much food left over. And so I would take some because I lived in LA and there were so many people on the street all the time. And so like occasionally I would take a whole bag and pass it out to people.
Right.
One person told me I gave them chips and they said that they were gluten-free. And it's like, respect. Like, that's totally fine. Don't eat them. Use it as payment. Give it to a friend.
Right.
Shit on it if you want to. Wipe your ass. Mm-hmm. You don't want the chips?
Don't take the chips.
Fine.
Don't take the
I'll
chips.
give the chips to someone else. Like, it's just, but your sign says hungry and anything helps.
Okay.
And then I gave someone a wrap and they said, do you have any what did he say? He goes, what is it? And I said, a turkey wrap? And he said, you have any hot meat? I said, sir.
Listen, you don't even have any hot meat.
No, I don't.
And you want to know what's funny? When I was in the shelter, like, I was like, I'll take whatever I can get.
And again, like, if that's not something you like,
I was
or like,
very gracious.
But use it for something else. Like, keep it.
Yeah.
And when you're really starving, you might need it.
Right? Or you might be able to trade it for something else.
Trade it for something else.
Okay. You want to know what I did experience?
What?
And this shit was hilarious. So this is when I was still in Jacksonville, and I got off on Lane Avenue or Boulevard, one of the two. I can't remember the name of it right now. And it was a guy standing on the corner, and his sign, like you said, I need food. I want food or whatever. Something about food. So I had half of a sub, and I ain't gonna lie, like, the sub wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. So I was just like, I don't want the rest of it. And I was going into my shift and I didn't want to I was working at Home Depot. I didn't want like the dust and shit. Like,
you were done.
I was like, whatever.
It was going to the trash.
It was going or this man who's standing on the side of the road with a sign that says he's hungry, I can give it to him. So I gave it to him and I looked back in my review and he was looking at it like, and I'm like, what? It's a Subway sub. Like,
it's a great meal.
It is a great meal.
For somebody.
For somebody. It was for me. It did what it was supposed to do.
One of my friends who I've had on the podcast, great idea, Redhead Rachel, one of her wines of the week was people who serve, I don't know if you've seen them from Costco, they're pinwheel sandwiches or pinwheel wraps. Mm-hmm. So I had a housewarming party and I served those. And so her wine of the week, weeks later was like, those things. And she's a chef, by the way.
Oh, okay,
and so
that's
she's
why.
like, those things are disgusting, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I mean, it was good. Everyone ate the pinwheels. It was fine, you know?
It did what it was supposed to
Yeah. And she goes, I'm telling you, if we drove around, because I had so much extra, I did. And she's like, I'm telling you, if we drove around and tried to give that to people on the street that were hungry, they wouldn't even fucking take it. And I said, let's go.
Did they take it?
Most of them did not.
I would have ate it.
Most of them did not. And the one person even asked me, they were like, well, what is it? I said, it's a pinwheel sandwich from Costco. It's got, cream cheese. I don't know, something weird on it. And he's like, no thanks. I'm like, okay.
I'd rather starve. I'm sorry that I could not.
I know. I'm laughing, and it's probably terrible to laugh, but it is pretty funny when
it
your
is
sign
funny,
says
like,
hungry.
because I've been like, bottom of the barrel. So I'm like, I would take, and especially if a decently dressed, clean individual. Now I will tell you one thing I did experience.
Oh, right, and it's not in like a like it's wrapped.
I just want to eat. Okay, so let me tell you what happened one time, because you just made me think about her. I wonder how she doing. So when I was staying in Jacksonville, I used to take the bus to get back and forth to the campus that I was on.
Okay.
And I will talk to anybody, okay? I will strike a conversation with that plant over there, okay? Like, I am that person.
This is fake. It won't talk back.
After I'm done, it will. But no. So I'm sitting at the bus stop, and this lady came up to me, and we start talking, and she's sweet, really sweet. And then I don't know what happened for this to happen, but she reached over in her bag. She took out a thing of a canister of Pringles. She ate a few, then she reached down and she she took her shoe off and she took her sock off, and then she started like digging in her toes. And then she got done, she put it back on, she reached her hand back into the canister, and then she was like, you want some? And I'm like, girl, no, I do not at all. So yeah, I did turn down food that day. I did. I sure did. I wonder how she doing that. She was so sweet. We had a ball. In that little time frame that we were sitting there waiting for our buses, we had a great time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she was so sweet. She was cool.
So sweet, but no social awareness.
I don't want your... And like, she was... What's the word they use? Transient.
Uh-huh.
So, because she had like all of her stuff inside of a cart.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be a jerk.
So nice of her to offer.
Yeah, but I don't want your fungus
but no,
Pringles.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I'm good.
I'm
done. So yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, I had someone on recently who went through a long lock journey, and then they cut their locks. Mm-hmm. And she was like, it just felt like a fresh start.
I saw that interview. That was the first
Alexa
interview.
Darling?
Yeah, that was the first one that I saw, and that's what made me reach out to you, because I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. We're all inclusive.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, yeah. What's your question about that?
She said that, she loved the journey. She said she kind of had commitment problems, if you remember from the episode, and she was like, I want to commit to this, grow this, do this, and loved it. Mm-hmm. And then she was going through stuff, and she decided to make a change to her hair, and she felt the energy just leave with it.
So funny. I had a dream the other night that I cut my hair off. And when I woke up, it didn't sound like such a bad idea.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I did.
How long have you had your locks?
This month makes 3 years.
Okay.
I started a set.
Wow, long.
That's because I take care of my hair. That's what I do.
I know. Testament to
I take
your talent.
I low-key want to take it down because I'm so used to having it down to the point where I'm low-key starting to get a headache. Mm. Yeah, I think I am about to take it down.
Take it down.
Okay.
Take it down.
I didn't know if we were okay with that.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to get a headache.
Yeah, no, nothing better than taking your bra off at the end of the day.
And that's how it feels.
I've actually just stopped wearing real bras. I can't do it.
I do a little Five Below sports bra every now and then.
Yeah, or like a bralette I'm into.
Yeah,
and I don't care that they're saggy.
I don't care at all.
Don't care.
I did realize recently though, because my bathroom has like these big ass mirrors, and you have no option other than to see yourself.
Okay.
And I realized, not only are my tits like asymmetrical.
One's bigger than the other?
No. One of my nipples is like ovally.
Okay.
And the other one is like circly.
One's a circle, one's an oval.
Yeah.
I
never realized that before. That's like that.
One of my boobs is bigger than the other.
Really?
Like probably a full half size, or not a full half. Like that sounds like
I get what you're saying.
A half size bigger, I would say.
It's like that episode of Orange Is the New Black when they first.
I love that show.
I just restarted it. So you remember the episode where I can't remember her name. But she gave them a mirror to finally look at their vaginas.
Yeah.
That's how it is when you finally look at your body in the mirror. And then you know what else I realized? If I look straight on, I have like a nice shape. But if I go sideways, these are the things that's happening in my house when my kids go to bed.
Oh my, no, I get it.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah. That's what's happening.
But you know what? A woman's body is a beautiful thing.
It is. It's just interesting because how did that even happen? And now I'm like, has that always been like that? Or is it new? Did it come after the kids? And you know, it's something else they don't tell you after you have kids and you start producing milk. It makes you have more yeast infections.
Is that true?
I experienced it, and I don't know, maybe it's because let me retract that statement. So I was told that because of the fact that I'm a diabetic, but we all have sugar in our body. So with that being said, I could see that being true. And after you eat, no matter who you are, your blood sugar spikes. Mm-hmm. The only difference is that your body will correct it, mine won't. Okay. With that being said, after I had my first son, I kept having yeast infections. And I was like, what the fuck? So I go to my doctor and I'm like, I keep having these yeast infections. Da, da, da. He's like, because your body is making bread. You have a lot of sugar because my blood sugar was running higher. You have the yeast and then it's something else. Oh, the milk. He's like, your body is literally making bread.
That is so interesting.
It is, but they don't tell you that.
I know several moms right now in my life who are like, I don't know.
Do they get yeast infections? Well, you wouldn't know that. They do?
No,
are they diabetics?
Not that I know of.
So it's everybody. So why don't they tell us this?
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know what's going on.
You know what else they don't tell you? What? That your water breaks more than once. You know how in the movies, like, your water breaks and that's it, take it to the hospital? Yeah. No, your body literally keeps gushing out water.
Is it different for everyone, though?
I don't know. I had 2 pregnancies that happened twice, so I feel like it's a everyone thing.
They don't tell you a lot.
They don't tell you
I don't have
shit.
any kids, but...
They don't tell you nothing.
That's good, though. People need to hear more,
I don't know
more about the real shit. Oh, so wait, are you going to cut your hair? Not right now.
I can't say yes and I can't say no.
Okay.
Honestly. I'm in limbo about it. Mm-hmm. I could see myself doing it though, and then not only that, like when I started my lock journey, it was like right before we moved out here. I was in a horrible fucking relationship. I went through a lot with my people. It was just a lot. So I really feel like it probably wouldn't be the worst situation. But then I have so much growth to the point where it's like, do I really want to give all this up?
I mean, obviously take your time with that decision. Because...
Yeah. But then it's also like my hair grows fast. And in worst case scenario, I can just relock my hair and it'll just regrow back out because my hair grows. Thank God I haven't had to experience not being able to grow my hair.
Right.
And not only that, like I know how to take care of my hair and grow it back. So it's not like it would be like.
Could be kind of a fun.
It could.
Fun
and then it could be like. It really could. And then it could be like promo for my hair product line.
Yeah. And like definitely do a lot of content and stuff like that.
So that's where I'm at.
How did you feel about, I don't know if you saw the people with Beyonce's hairline, Sacred, people saying, like, she needs to show her hair. Like, did you see all that? Because it was too much of other people. Show, like, real people showing their...
I don't follow enough of celebrities.
Okay.
Stuff. Like, I get the bullet points.
Okay.
With that being said, I feel like with you saying that, because that was my first time hearing that. Basically,
it was that if your hair product is so great, let's see it on you rather than seeing all these normal day-to-day people. And then the opposite side was, why does somebody have to show it on their own self? They can show...
Because y'all didn't do that to Taraji P. Henson, and y'all didn't do that to... What's that lady name from... Grownish?
Keke Palmer.
No. Oh, she got a hairline too?
Doesn't she? You can say.
Tracy Ellis Ross. Y'all didn't do that to Tracy Ellis Ross. And
so why are they doing it to Beyonce?
Because Beyonce is Beyonce. Like, let's be honest. With that being said, I feel like what they wanted from her was something that smaller brands do. But she has the ability to market and reach a broader audience without having to put herself out there. So she did what was comfortable for her on her budget. What they wanted her to do was what was comfortable for them on their budget. Like, I'm a small business. So for my budget, in order for me to show you that my product works, I'm going to do it on myself.
Right.
But for her budget, in order for her to show you that her product works, she's probably going to send thousands of samples or get a study group and then show their growth.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel
so
like
it works either way.
It works either way, but they just, I feel like
people are going to hate.
Right. With celebrities, people going to do what they want to do.
What is your wine of the week? Something that's bothering you, big or small?
You know what I think?
Tell me.
I think that we, as a people, need to find a way to get from under the stupid stuff that we're under. The mindsets that we have, the stuff that we're normalizing.
Okay.
The stuff that we're normalizing as okay when we know good and goddamn well we should not be saying and normalizing for people. Such as teen pregnancy or just making bad decisions or just stuff like that. Like, I feel like we need to get back to having people who will tell us, no, that's not okay.
Okay.
Everybody need a no man. That's what it is. You need a no man. Everybody need a no man in their life.
Yeah.
Somebody to tell them, no, this is not okay. Make a better choice. I end up meeting a lot of women, a lot of people in general, but a lot of women. And they tell me just the certain stuff that they're tolerating in their relationships and stuff. And I think that now that I'm out of such toxicity, I'm like, dang, I wish I had.
I was going to say, did you have a no man? Did you have someone that looked at you and were like, hey, what are you doing? I'm going to shake you out of this. Why don't you see what you're doing? Or the situation you're in?
The people I had around me were so detrimental to my mental to the point where I did not. They were the ones I was trying to get from around.
Okay.
So it just fed me into more bullshit.
Yeah.
Honestly. So it's like now when I meet people, it's like, oh, I just want to hug you because you shouldn't be dealing with this. Come here, give me a hug.
Yeah.
Like somebody.
Yeah, I would say that in some ways, our culture has become more accepting of like those things that you just mentioned, like teen pregnancy, things like that.
Abuse,
which is not
abuse.
Great, but also turning the corner and accepting in other ways that are good.
That's
like
true.
Learning.
That's true.
Hopefully steering away from cancel culture.
You know, it's funny. I feel like we're at a point of like a huge double-edged sword. Because yes, cancel culture can be frustrating to like, because I know I watched an interview and it was one of the Marlon Wayans. He was saying he wanted to do another White Chicks. And one interview, he said, yeah, we're doing this. But then he came back and he retracted and he said he's not going to do it because of cancel culture. I feel like cancel culture is a good thing because it's put me personally in the position to realize that the stuff that I've dealt with or I've been through was not normal. It was not okay.
Okay.
But then it gets to the point where it blocks the creativity that we're used to.
Yeah, I do think that there's an interesting line. I've had a couple comedians on and I say, how do you navigate that? Like, are you still telling race jokes? Like,
right.
what's that kind of thing?
And you know what's so, oh my goodness. So I just rewatched, don't judge me when I say this.
Okay.
I just binge rewatched with my kids all 6 seasons of The Nanny.
Oh my God, funny.
I love Fran, okay? But it was certain things that, and I want to say maybe it was around like season 3, and the fact that I even know this is insane. But they did kind of flirt the lines with like little
I'm sure.
They
Times were different.
but it was funny. It was even as a black person. It was a chuckle. Yeah. But then you have to realize, like, I grew up in Maine and Washington State, and like, you know, I've been around a lot of different people, so I can find humor in. I have like a dark humor type situation. Like, don't go full on like racist with me, but certain things, like I guess I'm comfortable, and I hate to say this with like stereotypical stuff.
Okay, so like, stereotype humor is funny.
It is funny, but like when you
racist humor too far.
Like no. Like, I
just don't know, but that's what's interesting is like who is going to be the person to draw the line,
right? And
who's going to go over the line?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's weird because even with like, and I watch a lot of old stuff that like I grew up watching, like Different Strokes and stuff, Good Times, and it's like that shit was hilarious. Chappelle Show, hilarious, but very not okay in this time. We can't get away with it.
I know.
And it sucks because I would love to see Reno 911 come back. I would love to see that. I would love to see them redo Reno 911. It was hilarious.
Still working on that.
We're still working on that because where do we go? So that is like I want, and then that's the thing. Like I love Lifetime movies, but you can't watch the new ones and get excited because they're so predictable.
I mean, all Lifetime movies are predictable.
The older ones had a little bit more of a okay, it might not be that.
Really?
Yeah, I like the older ones more.
Okay,
I do.
Right.
But the older ones, like I don't know. I feel like stuff like back when we were coming up was like better.
Oh, definitely. The quality of TV and movies was definitely better.
It was.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for coming.
No problem.
This was fun.
It is.
Where can my listeners find you on socials and all that? And of course, I'll put it in the show notes, but
okay, that's fine. So my Instagram is at CP Beauty Studios. I haven't like made a Instagram for like life insurance stuff. It's literally all here, and that's probably why you didn't even really realize that I was in financial services because we talked through that platform. But yeah, you can find me there.
Okay.
Also in my bio on there is my link tree where if you want to book a life insurance appointment, you can, or you can book hair, or you can book me for the other things that I offer. So yeah, my link tree, it has everything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. This was fun. This
It
was
was
a good
fun.
combo.
It was.
Thank you very much
great.
for joining.
No problem.
And
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Oh, I was going to say cheers, but you're out. Oops.
Yeah. That's gone.
Okay. Whiners, thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.